Hello guys and welcome to another video. Today we are going to be taking a look at a $24 smartphone. This is indeed the Telstra Tempo, otherwise known as the ZTE T815. And you can pick one of these up for $24 at Officeworks. So for $24, what exactly do you get? Apparently you get a 4-inch display, an ability to play MP3s and video, as well as a camera. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing just how good this camera is. So let's take it out of the box. Okay, cool, so we'll just remove these two tabs here and we'll see what's inside the box. Ooh. As far as packaging and presentation goes, this actually isn't too bad. The one downside to this is it's actually locked to Telstra, so if you aren't actually with the Telstra network, you basically just bought yourself a glorified iPod. That's a lot cheaper than an iPod. So we have the phone itself in a nice little anti-static bag, which should keep it from shorting out. And there it is in its nice plastic glory. So yeah, it's pretty light, this one. I'm gonna guess it doesn't have the battery in it yet. And that's one advantage this phone has, is you actually can remove the battery. So we're gonna just slide that nice protective film off to expose the 4-inch display. And this is definitely not gonna be a really high quality display, and I actually don't think it's gonna be very good at all. So around the back we have a nice soft plastic finish, which will probably survive a few drops. And around the back we have the camera, no flash however, and for $24 I'm not exactly that surprised. So, and at the top we have micro USB as well as a headphone jack, which is super convenient. Okay, so now we're gonna see what else we have inside the box. It's kind of funny that they actually include a little bag for you to recycle the phone with. They obviously don't expect you to keep this for very long. Other things we've got are the headphones, which I guarantee are going to sound terrible. Another thing we've got is the USB power adapter, which has a nice little cord on it for some reason. Next thing we've got is the micro USB cable. And last of all is the 1200 milliamp hour battery, which is definitely a lot smaller than a lot of smartphones have today, but considering how low powered it is, I'd imagine this would get over a day of use. Okay, so to crack this bad boy open, we just lift from the bottom and hear a nice loud snapping sound. Okay, and with the back removed, we can see that this phone does indeed have a micro SD expansion slot, which is probably a good thing as it's only got 4GB of internal memory. So now that we've got the battery in, we can see that it does indeed have one SIM slot. However, I do not actually have a Telstra enabled SIM card, so I won't be able to try that out. Okay, so comparing this to a flagship smartphone is probably not a fair comparison. But as far as size goes, here it is compared against the LG G6 with a case. And as far as weight goes, the LG G6 isn't actually that much heavier, surprisingly. When it comes to displays, there is really no comparison. The high quality IPS display on the LG G6 really kicks ass, because this has a pretty average display, I must say. But for $24 you really can't complain, and it is totally usable. Considering this only has 512 megabytes of RAM, it's actually considerably zippy when using the operating system. So the real question is, can this actually do things that other smartphones can? And I think the first thing we should try out is the camera. So we're actually going to try and take a photo of our cameraman over there, who is making this all possible. Ooh, a nice camera shutter sound. Not a big fan of that, so I'm just going to take a look at that photo. Yeah, it's not very good. I think it's 2 megapixels as advertised, but it's actually not terrible. It is, actually, yeah, it's pretty terrible. But we're also going to try taking a video. There we go. Look at how well stabilized that is. Can you see that? That's the way. Yeah, not that great. So as we can see, the camera is pretty terrible, but that's kind of a given at this price range. So the real question is, can this play games? And of course the hardware it has is definitely not that great, but considering we're going to try a title like Angry Birds, I think it should be able to do it. So if there's one thing you're going to notice while using this phone is that it takes a really long time to load apps, and we've been sitting here waiting for like 2 minutes, and finally we've got Angry Birds up and running. So as we can see, games like Angry Birds work completely fine. However, if there's one thing I have noticed, it's that after installing about 2 apps, I ran out of internal storage. So the operating system already on here takes up most of that 4GB of space. So I think the real question is, can it run YouTube? I think let's play one of my videos to find out. If there's one thing that is kind of handy with this phone, is that a lot of the Google apps are pre-installed. Okay, so we're going to search for my channel and see what comes up.
Hard disk-based storage, the very first app one.
So, playing YouTube seems to be just fine. However, off angle, the viewing is pretty bad, and that sort of goes with a cheap LCD screen. But yeah, the speakers are actually pretty loud. So honestly, If you had no other smartphone, you could probably get away with this $24 smartphone. So once again, thank you very much for watching. If you want to pick one of these up, I will link them in the description. However, I do believe they are only available within Australia, so if you have an Officeworks nearby, go and pick one up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.